On an old order farm in Lancaster County, there's no bug spray in the barn and no electric zapper humming over the porch light. But by the end of a single summer, the wasp nests are gone. The honeybee hives are still full, still humming, still making honey. One wrong move with a spray can and a beekeeper can wipe out 60,000 bees in an afternoon. So how does a farm running on no chemicals and no electricity kill off an entire predator population and leave every single pollinator untouched? It starts with a problem nobody thinks about until the damage is already done. A single yellow jacket queen who survives the winter can found a colony that swells past 4,000 workers by the time August rolls around. 4,000 mouths, all of them scavengers. Those workers don't just want your picnic, they want protein. And a honeybee hive packed with larvae is the richest protein source within a mile of the barn. Every autumn, wasp scouts test the hive entrances, looking for a weak colony to raid. If they get in, they don't just steal honey, they kill brood, they kill guard bees. A single bad raid can strip a third of a hive's stores in a week, and a colony that looked healthy in September can be an empty box of wax and silence by October. One farmer in the valley found this out the hard way years back. He noticed one hive running lighter than the others in late August, fewer bees at the entrance, less noise when he laid his ear against the box. He pried the lid off, expecting a queen problem, and found several wasps already inside, dragging larvae out past bees too few in number to stop them. A few more days, and that colony would have collapsed entirely. He smoked the wasps out, narrowed the entrance that same afternoon, and started feeding the hive sugar syrup to rebuild its numbers before the fall dearth hit. That hive survived. It's the kind of lesson that only has to happen once before a farmer starts checking every box, every week, without fail. The farmer isn't fighting this with poison, he's fighting it with 50 years of watching, passed down the same way the ploughing lines and the planting dates get passed down. There's no chemistry degree behind any of it, and no dogma either. Sprays cost money, a small dairy farm doesn't have lying around, and they kill whatever they touch, bee or wasp, friend or thief. So the method has to be sharper than the tool. The first piece of that sharpness is knowing exactly what he's looking at before he does anything at all. A wasp has a narrow, pinched waist and a smooth, almost polished body. It moves fast, low, and mean. A honeybee is stockier, fuzzier, built for hauling pollen home on its back legs. It moves slow and heavy, like it's carrying groceries. Wasps hunt, bees gather. Get that wrong, even once, and you've killed the one insect on the farm that was never the problem. So the traps go up. Not sugar water, not soda, a mason jar with a few holes punched through the lid and a scrap of old chicken skin dropped in the bottom, left to warm and turn in the sun for a day or two until it smells exactly like the thing a wasp is hunting for. A honeybee has no interest in flesh, none. It wants nectar and pollen and nothing else. So a jar baited with rotting meat pulls in wasps, hornets, and the odd fly, and pulls in 0 bees. That single difference in appetite is the whole trick the entire system is built on. Placement matters just as much as the bait. Set a trap too close to the hives, and a wasp can trace the scent trail right back to where the bees actually live. So the jars go up along the fence line instead. The manure pile, the compost heap behind the barn. Anywhere 20 feet or more from the hive boxes, low to the ground, in full sun, where a scavenging wasp is already patrolling for scraps. The bees, working blossoms in the orchard on the other side of the yard, never even know the jars exist. But the real leverage isn't summer, it's spring. Every one of those 4,000-strong colonies started as a single queen in April, sluggish and half-frozen from winter, moving slow enough in that first 50-degree afternoon that she's almost lazy to trap. Catch her before she's laid a single egg, and an entire colony simply never happens. No 4,000 workers, no raid in October, just one dead queen in a jar, weeks before anyone else on the road is even thinking about wasps. One queen trapped in spring is worth 100 workers trapped in August, and the farmer knows it. So the jars go out the first warm week the frost breaks. Then there's the hive itself, because trapping alone never wins the whole war. The entrance gets narrowed down to a slit only a bee can slip through comfortably, whittled from a scrap of pine with a pocket knife and wedged into the hive mouth. Nothing but wood shaped to fit. No metal or hardware anywhere near it. Small enough that a scouting wasp has to squeeze in one body at a time, straight into a wall of guard bees, waiting for exactly that fight. A strong colony defends itself without any help. A weak one doesn't. Which is why the farmer walks the hive row all summer at dawn, while the dew's still heavy on the grass, and every insect on the property is too cold to fly fast. He checks weight, he checks brood pattern, he checks for the telltale hum that means a colony is thriving instead of struggling. Healthy numbers are the best defense there is, better than any jar in the yard. And not every wasp gets the same sentence. Paper wasps, the ones building grey, umbrella-shaped nests tucked under the barn eaves, mostly get left completely alone. They aren't the ones raiding hives in numbers. They spend their whole summer hunting caterpillars and hornworms off the tomato plants, doing the garden a favour nobody ever asked them for. The only nests that come down are the ones built too close to a doorway, where a child running to chores or a horse swinging its head might brush past and get stung by accident. Bald-faced hornets get even less patience, since a hornet sting hurts worse, and a disturbed nest can send 50 of them airborne at once. Either way, the work happens after dark, once the whole nest has gone still and quiet. No flashlight beams swinging across the paper, no sudden movement, just a slow hand and a feed sack lowered gently over the top before it's knocked loose into a bucket of soapy water. Move too fast in the dark, and even a sleeping nest wakes up angry. The kids get pulled into this too, in the way farm kids get pulled into everything. Part of the summer chore list is walking the fence line, checking traps, dumping the dead wasps into a bucket, and rebaiting the jars with whatever scraps came off the butchering table that week. It's not glamorous work. It smells like old chicken skin baking in July heat, and by August the jars are thick with dead insects that need dumping before the smell draws in raccoons looking for an easy meal. But it teaches the exact skill the whole system depends on. Since a 10-year-old who spent 3 summers sorting live wasps from dead bees in a jar never mixes the two up again in his life. There's no dramatic showdown in any of this, no spray truck rolling down the lane, no cloud of chemical drifting over the clover and killing everything with wings for 100 yards in every direction. Just a jar of chicken skin in exactly the right spot. A queen caught before she ever lays an egg. An entrance built too narrow for anything but a bee to pass through easily. And a nest taken down quietly enough that nothing inside it even wakes up angry. The whole system runs on one plain fact. A predator and a pollinator want completely different things to eat. And once you understand that difference well enough, you never have to choose between killing the wasp and saving the bee. You only have to know, at a glance, which one is which. Late summer is when all of it gets tested at once. By August, the wildflowers start thinning out, the clovers mostly spent, and every wasp colony in the county hits what beekeepers call the dearth. The stretch when there's simply less natural food to scavenge, and hives start looking like the easiest meal around. This is also exactly when a wasp colony is at its biggest, thousands of workers deep, and hungriest it will ever be all year. The traps that went out quiet in April and caught nothing but a stray queen here and there suddenly start filling up fast, sometimes needing new bait every few days instead of every week. It's the one stretch of the season where the whole system has to hold, because a single missed week of checking hive entrances in late August is exactly the kind of gap a hungry colony finds. Compare that to how a lot of commercial operations handle the same problem. A big pollination outfit trucking hundreds of hives across 3 states doesn't have time to walk every row at dawn checking brood pattern by hand. It's faster to spray a perimeter and accept some bee losses as the cost of scale. Neither approach is wrong exactly. They're just built for completely different farms. One trades labour for speed, the other trades speed for precision. And on 40 acres worked by hand and horse, precision is the only thing there's ever enough time for anyway. Maybe that's the real lesson sitting underneath all of it. Somewhere between the mason jars and the narrowed hive entrances is a kind of patience most modern farming stopped having time for decades ago. Watching an insect closely enough, season after season, to know exactly what it wants before you ever try to stop it. So the next time a wasp starts circling your soda can on a porch somewhere far from any farm, ask yourself what a man with no spray can and no shortcuts, just 50 years of watching, would actually do about it.